Hey guys, I'm Rob Base, and this is Comic Nation TV's only podcast about comics, the Caption Box. And of course, I got my cohort in crime, Juan Pineda. Juan, thanks for being here.
Hey, what's going on?
All right, and today, once again, he's like a three-peat. This is kind of again like SNL, I think is what it is. That he's appeared on our show a couple times, but this time we're doing it for the man himself to help promote what he's doing. Special little project. It's really good to hear it, and I want to talk all about it. And that's Mr. Jamal, good to his mother, the quintessential stud muffin of the DC universe, Igle. Thank you. See, I had to do something like that. I've been dying to do something fancy, and I almost flubbed it. So, Jamal Igle, thank you for being here. And what's
it's
going
my
on?
pleasure, man. How's it going, guys?
It's going great. Mr. Jamal Igle, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
All right. So first off, let's just jump into this whole thing. How long ago did you start doing this project with Molly Danger?
The initial concept, or just like trying to get this, whole Kickstarter thing going.
The original concept before it
This is
started.
it's all about you, man. Just you can talk about anything you want.
Okay.
It started when
All
you were
right.
5 years
Well,
old, whatever you want to do.
All right. Well, the original, a friend of mine and I, a friend of mine, Rich Maurizio, and I were driving back from Pittsburgh Comic Con. This was back in 2001. And as we were driving, we were talking about pitching an animation project to Cartoon Network. And we started coming up with, this concept. We wanted to do something female. We wanted to have it be an action-adventure show. And at the time, you had stuff like Kim Possible and Atomic Betty and the Life and Times of Juniper Lee. And we wanted to do something in that vein. And as we were talking the idea out, and we're literally like driving up 95, having this conversation, and I came up with a name, which was Molly Danger. And Rich wasn't so sure about the name. He's like, well, that'll be a hard sell to networks. The word danger, shouldn't be part of the title. It was just like, no, that has to be the name. The name has to be Molly Danger. And then he was like, well, maybe we should make her a teenager. I was like, no. If this is going to work, she has to be a younger character. So we started coming up with this idea, and then as things kind of moved forward, we decided that we were going to try to pitch it as an animation project, that we were going to do it as a comic book series. So we started working on it. I wrote a standard 22-page script for the first issue, started doing artwork on it, and then I started getting fill-in work over at DC and Marvel. And then I got busier and busier, and it became impossible for me to draw it myself. So then we hired another artist, a guy named Jamal Peppers. And Jamal, this is probably around like 2003, we hired Jamal. And he got about 6 pages into the script that I had written with the layouts that I had drawn. And then he couldn't do it anymore. And he just sort of disappeared after that. So, I kept going back over the years, tweaking things a little bit, adding concept sketches, that sort of thing. And then I just got busier and busier and busier. The next thing I know, I'm working with Jay Ferber on Venture. Then I'm working for a year and a half on Army of Angels for the Humanoids Associé. Then I get a call from DC, and next thing you know, it's 7 years later.
Wow.
I just snuck up out of nowhere.
Damn, Jamal, but you have to be so talented and reliable.
Yeah, how dare you actually want to have to get work and get paid? And
Really, how dare you build a name in the field?
But you know how it is, the time, I mean, if you look through, because I hold on to my old sketchbooks, you look through the sketchbooks, there are dozens of drawings of Molly, and the concept just always stayed with me. I never, every so often, my mother would ask me, "So, what are you going to do with Molly Danger?"
It's like a granddaughter.
Yeah, like, what are you going to do with Molly Danger? You got to do something. I'm waiting
I have
for
a
my
real
house.
daughter, damn it, Mom!
Yeah.
Pay attention to Katie.
No, she loves her grandchildren, all of them. But so what happened was in 2010, I was approached by a friend of mine who works for Abrams Comics Arts, and he was asking me if I had a superhero concept that I might want to pitch. So I ended up meeting Charlie Coachman, who's the editor in chief at Abrams, doing a verbal pitch at Baltimore Comic Con and getting the okay to send him the material. So at that point, I had been thinking about reworking the entire concept, and because originally the concept was more akin to sort of like Amethyst Princess of Gemworld, where you weren't sure if Molly's world was real or her reality as just a normal little girl was the real world. And it, when I went back to it and kind of looked at the whole thing, it just said, you know what, this is way more complicated than it needs to be. So I reworked the entire plot of the series and pitched it as a series of graphic albums because I knew that was something that they were getting interested in doing. So I pitched it to Abrams, never heard back. So I was still on contract with DC. The plan at that point was, if Abrams had accepted it, that I would be writing it while I was still doing art, for DC. And then once my contract ran out with DC, then I would start drawing it. Year goes by, hadn't heard anything from Abrams. And then I try to get in touch with a literary agent who does graphic novels, who represents a couple of friends of mine who are doing graphic novels for various companies. I pitched the idea to her, and she says, "This is great. This is a great superhero property. It's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous concept. It looks great. I don't know who I could take this to, because everybody at this point is looking for clones of Diary of a Wimpy Kid."
Wow. Or
Yeah,
Harry
that's the
Potter
problem.
or something.
With the kids' books, especially, they go to these spikes of what's in, like you said, like the Harry Potter thing, and then the Diary of a Wimpy Kid. They go through these like jumps
Right.
of what
Now they're
they
looking
are.
for, they try to do the Percy Jackson, try to do a version of that.
See, that was all within that whole Harry Potter realm, and then
Right. And
then it
now
was
they
all about.
got
Then
up.
we're doing stuff about food. So we got the spaghetti things and food
Right.
and meatballs and falling out of the
They got,
sky.
now they got Ender's Games being produced into a movie. So and they all have one thing in common. They're all about boys, young.
Very true.
So I don't see. Rob, I know what you're thinking. Stop it.
What did I just because I laugh? Yeah, I was gonna get yelled at. This is so
Yes.
inappropriate.
Well, you know what I meant to say is that Jamal had a property here start a young girl,
Right.
and nobody's going to really look at that, which is sad.
It is sad, actually. It's very sad.
Also, you have an agent that believes in a project and they don't know who to take it. They get you kind of nervous on the inside, going, "Oh, what am I doing wrong? I've been in the business so long, and like, I couldn't. What do you mean you can't? There's nobody you could take this to whatsoever."
Well, in terms of mainstream publishers, I
Right.
understood, knowing the realities of mainstream publishing, I understood that people would be more hesitant. It would be a harder sell, and it would probably take a lot longer because you're talking about a female centric action adventure series. And there really isn't that much out there.
I think Nancy Drew was the
Yeah,
last one.
Every time I think of a female-centric action adventure, I keep thinking of Goldie Gold. From like the early
That just
80s.
shows how old you are.
Like I still get like Goldie Gold. Like someone should redo that. Jamal, that should be your next project. I thought bring back Goldie Gold.
Goldie
She's the
Gold.
oldest. She's the oldest sister of Molly Danger.
Goldie Golden Action Jack.
Action Jack. Oh. Straight up.
I think Action Jackson.
Well, another thing is I want to talk about really quick. You talk about sometimes when you sit on a project for so long, you end up over reworking it, and like you see, you're making it too complicated, and that's such a common trait when you have a project. When you're doing something for a job and you only have so much time, you can't overthink it.
Exactly.
So you work it, you get it done because you have a deadline. But when this is your property, you sit there and you rewrite it. You go through, you rewrite it. You go through. Then you sit down. You come back like, oh, well, I like the other version better. And you go back a bit, and then of course whatever's influxing the smell of the air one day, what's on TV always influences you. You just don't realize it, and then that changes your project from being something as simple as just a preteen girl into this, who knows, like robots jump out of the sky, mech suits, and the whole 9 yards and stuff that just takes it to a whole nother level that we're looking for. It's like, wait a second, what? How does this become the Transformers?
Did she change a lot from the original concept to what you have now?
The story changed, but she really hasn't changed. Actually, I think she has been the most, like, the base elements of the characters have all remained in place. It's just basically I simplified the plot, and I simplified her origin, and I made it, and I'm making it something that I think is more accessible for a lot of people on an emotional level.
So streamlined it.
Exactly. Streamlined it, simplified it, streamlined it, and I think it's much stronger for it.
Cool. So you were going with you pitched it all over the place, yeah, and nobody responded. Nobody knew what to do with it. Was there a moment where what got you from that point to Kickstarter to saying I'm just going to do this myself? And was there a seminal point? Was there something that happened that clicked that said this is how I'm going to do it?
Well, basically what happened was when I made the announcement that my contract was going to run out at the beginning of the year, I had actually gotten approached by a couple of different people about doing a creator-owned project and having it funded through a website called Kickstarter, which at that point I'd never even heard of before. So, before I said yes to anybody, I started doing some investigating and started looking at what was being offered and what, the kind of money that was being raised. And I think really what kind of tilted me towards going with Kickstarter was seeing like the success of Order of the Stick.
Mm-hmm.
And just going, if I could just raise a fraction of that money, I could do something that I give a shit about, and rather than it just being another, working with another writer, and and it just sort of came together. I've got like 3 or 4 different projects that are in various stages of completion in terms of concept, but Molly really is the most personal to me, and the one that I felt would have the biggest draw from readers, because it's something that I feel like is desperately needed right now.
Yeah.
Also, being that this is a book that you're pimping, it's preteen, and it's going to be this young girl.
Mm-hmm.
Now with studios what about prior to doing this? What about places like Boom, the Kaboom imprint of Boom's Entertainment?
I really wanted to avoid taking it to a Boom or an IDW or Image or another publisher like that for a couple of different reasons. I mean, Kaboom is fine, but most of the stuff that's coming out of Kaboom are licensed properties,
right?
Except for maybe, and is Snarked even part of the Kaboom line?
See, that's that one of those gray areas because it's all the Boom imprint. It's just that finding out, like you said, it was Garfield and the Disney license, and so it's kind of like I think it's put with that, but I don't know if there's a cusp between the Boom imprint and the Kaboom, like a little higher edge one. I'm not too sure.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we get all the review samples all the time, God forbid I know what the hell I'm reading. But yes. But you are right. They are more licensed. They look for properties that, or if they're creator owned, that they're already
right. I didn't want to take it to Image because that's what I was going for. Is not something that Image would do generally. Just looking at the roster of titles. I mean, with the exception, I think, of Super Dinosaur, there really isn't anything, that even comes close to being an all ages title at Image right now. I could
Arcadia, which is another studio, they have the Jim Henson license, and they're kind of sticking with their guns with
right, exactly. I mean, there's a lot of great smaller imprints out there, but there was the one company that I knew, people that I knew personally, people that I trusted, people that that were that are an up and coming small publisher, and it just so happened that at the same time that I was thinking, what, this Molly would fit in really, really well at Action Lab Entertainment. Sean Pryor from Action Lab sent me an email saying, we would love to have Molly at Action Lab.
Forgot about Action Lab. They're fantastic.
Yes, they are. They are.
Yeah.
They are absolutely fantastic, and and it's just getting, things for them are just getting bigger and bigger every day. So they're a fantastic company. They do fantastic content between Fracture, Double Jumpers, Princeless, Jetta, and all the other stuff that they have planned that's going to be coming out in like the next year or two. It's really turning into an exciting time for them.
Yeah, it looks like Molly Danger fits right in there.
Yeah, absolutely, and not because it's an action adventure series of a young female, because regardless of whether or not Princeless was still going, I would still want to take it over there. The thing about it is, these guys are friends of mine, and I trust them.
And who says you can't work with friends? That's the best thing in the world.
That's true. That's very, very true. I would rather, and it's, part of it is hoping that, my somewhat dubious fame can help them out as well. Bring a little attention to the little more attention to books as well.
The big fish in the little pond was.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so
big fish in a little pond and to be fighting to swim upstream.
That's it. It's a little worm on a big fucking hook. You don't want to do that part.
Exactly.
But so now you go and you start investigating Kickstarter, and what did you learn from this whole Kickstarter experience?
Well, I think one of the big things that I learned, and this came from, because I've been, I started this process in probably like January, February. So I had been basically got to a point where I was going on a Kickstarter before I even launched, maybe, twice a day, looking at other campaigns, seeing what worked, what was successful, how they went about it, what their approach was towards publicizing the campaign. How do you, how do you use, PR to your advantage? How do you get into certain, the venues that you need to get into? One of the things that I discovered about a lot of the campaigns that failed was nobody knew that their campaigns were even up there, because they did, they either just stuck to, because on the Kickstarter website, they tell you, well, stick to Facebook, don't spam anybody, don't do this, don't do that. And that's nice. That's a nice thought. But, if you only have 200 Kickstarter friends, or Kickstarter friends,
Facebook friends, Twitter friends.
Right, exactly. Like, if you only have like 200 Facebook friends, there's only so much that they can do, in terms of retweeting. And, Juan knows this about me as well. I cut my teeth in advertising and marketing.
Mm-hmm.
So...
You're like Don Draper.
Yeah. Just with a much darker tan.
Much shorter.
See, now I'd watch that show more, just for the fact of.
Well, advertising agencies in the 60s, there weren't any black people in management. Are you kidding me? Not at was it Sterling, Cooper, and Draper now, or whatever the hell?
Cooper, Price is dead.
Yeah,
Spoiler, sorry.
How do we segue to Mad Men? Now bring it back in. Let's do this right.
Okay. So I basically decided that I was going to run this campaign the way you run an advertising campaign. Is you let people know in advance that you're doing this, that it's
Right.
coming, that you set a date, you advertise the date, you push that date, you get into as many venues as possible, whether it's podcast interviews or you get it on print or on a website. You push this as hard and as far as you can before you even launch. And
True.
so far, it's working.
Well, let's just talk about the rules and regulations that, 'cause for people who don't know about Kickstarter, let's just kind of go over, because it's a learning process for everybody as you go through it.
Right.
I've dabbled in it and helping my friend out with his, and they kind of tell you right away. It's like things you can't do, and it's because it's wrong, and like it's kind of like on that cusp, like like you said, it's like, well, if I don't bring this to people's attention, how will people know? And this is not just for something like Kickstarter. Goes for everything.
Right. Exactly.
If people just don't know it exists, how can people support it?
Right. If you're just counting on people searching, and there are a lot of people who just search on Kickstarter for projects,
but sometimes their search engine isn't always that great. I was looking to help support some other small comic book press guys, and then like 5 showed up. It's like, it's gotta be more than 5. It's like, tell me not. And unfortunately, 3 of them was unsuccessfully, and you can see like, well, what? And you see the art is great. Like, what did they do wrong? And then, like you said, it's this whole getting that information. Like, Kickstarter is a great thing. It's a very solid way to go. Now, what's in terms of what's the rules about with the money? Okay, let's say if you're unsuccessful, do you still get the funds that people already donated?
No, if you're unsuccessful, everybody gets their money back, and that's the big difference between Kickstarter and a lot of the other crowdfunding sites. And it's an all or nothing proposition. So if you do reach your goal by the allotted time, then it's great. You get the money. I think like 14 days later. It's like 2 weeks for the money to be transferred to your account, and then it's on you to fulfill the rewards and your stated goals. There was actually a very interesting article that came out recently where they did this infographic about what it takes to have a successful Kickstarter campaign. The amount of friends that you have on Facebook, the amount of advertising that you do have a big effect. The one of the negatives is that there's the larger amount campaigns tend to not do as well as campaigns for smaller amounts.
Right.
So you have to weigh that in. You have to be realistic about the goals that you're trying to set. You don't want to ask for too little and hope that you make over that, because then you're kind of stuck. If you don't get the remaining funds, then you have to do another campaign, or do a campaign on another site, or try to find a way to fund the campaign, to fund the project, and make up the shortfall that you didn't get from your backers. So you have to be absolutely realistic about exactly how much you need, how much you want to make sure that you've checked all the numbers, and you go for what you consider to be a realistic goal for whatever the project is that you're doing.
So basically, sorry.
No, I get one.
But basically, you're using these skills that you haven't used, these marketing skills you haven't used since advertising. You're starting to administrate, become a little bit of an accountant and a budget person. Come up with like how much. Sounds very unartistic and business-like. Did you see yourself in this point 5 years ago, 10 years ago, when you came up with Molly Danger? Like, I'm going to be king of my world and fund all this stuff? Or is this something that you eased into, like, yeah, I can do this. I can. Once you did your due diligence, like you said you did.
No, because I have experience overseeing projects already. But when you're working at home, you sort of get taken out of that. And I think one of the big things about me going freelance again has been learning how to delegate responsibility for myself again, doing all of the clerical and the follow-up and the research and the due diligence on everything again myself. And I've had like the last 7 months to sort of like gear myself up for it. So
What was that like, pressing that hovering over that button, the launch button on Kickstarter?
It
Yesterday.
was that was the easy part. Like up until maybe like the day before, like I was just starting to get really, really itchy. Like I was just like, and I actually launched it 2 hours before I originally intended to, because I was originally going to launch it at 10, and I was just like, screw this. I'm just gonna, it's the first here, let's get this going.
Cool, awesome. Sounds
Now,
good.
my question is with the whole Kickstarter thing. You keep going. What's Uncle Sam's cut from you? I mean, don't they get a cut of it, or is
Yeah,
this-
it's up to 30% because it is reported as income.
See, it's not like how people think like it's like an org or like a fundraiser type of thing. It's
Charity.
more-
Absolutely.
It's not charity wise.
No, it's not. It's not charity. People, especially if you're creating incentives to send to people, it's a
Right.
business.
Mhm.
It is personal business income. So you have to plan for that accordingly.
Yeah,
And I think a lot of people forget that or don't realize that when they're doing the Kickstarter.
even if you are like an eBay seller, if you're one of those giant power sellers that you get taxed on that income too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So it's all about Uncle Sam getting this cut.
Right.
That's normal. What's very funny about with Kickstarter, you said something very important. Set your goals responsibly.
And
Right.
realistically.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you have to, because like you said, I supported this Kickstarter for a guy who's doing his whole independent action figure line, and he explained that why he needs as much money as he needs, because what molds cost and what they have to get the things done, and the problem is that the reach is an extraordinary a lot of money,
Right.
and you only have that 2 weeks to raise that money.
Mhm.
And that leads to a problem. And what you get, like you said, it's unsuccessful. You get nothing.
Right. But
So-
it doesn't mean that you can't try another campaign. There have been a couple of people who have done that as well. Tony Harris for Round Eye for Love, actually, like his first campaign for it failed, and then the second campaign, like he did the second campaign, but for a lower asking price.
Mhm.
And a lot of times, like when I was getting closer to launch, it was around the same time that Leah Hernandez was doing her campaign for the Garlets. And one of the things that I actually heard a lot as a complaint from comic fans, like everybody's got their own opinion about how about how these things are supposed to work, like how much material is supposed to be done before you pitch to a comic book Kickstarter, versus people think that a lot of people were complaining that she was going on and on about her personal finances and everything, and what the money would be used for, and people were complaining that they didn't want to have to fund her life in order to get this done. Plus the fact that she was doing the Garlics as a webcomic before it went into print, which is different from a lot of the people who are turning their webcomics into print comics, because they already have like a year's worth of material already done. So it really made me think for a while. I was trying to figure out exactly how much money I needed, how much I should ask for. I started taking quotes from printers. I started looking at realistically at what I would need to pay the creative team that I'm hiring to work with me on the book, and the tax and fee situation from Kickstarter as well, and that's where I came up with the number. And I'm trying to reiterate to people, this isn't a fun Jamal's life thing. I'm actually making very little money off of this myself, just enough to get the book done. Over the course of 3 months. Everything else is going to paying creators, paying fees, paying taxes, and paying for the printing, and paying for the shipping and distribution.
Now, when it's all said and done, you reach your goal, because you're reaching your goal. Don't worry, that's happening. What's your print run going to be like?
Right now, what we're looking at is a 2,000 copy straight to Kickstarter backer print run. But we're also doing a direct market version. So we were actually discussing that today. But the funds that I'm raising is just for the Kickstarter print run, which is going to be 2,000 copies.
Now, is there a life after this where you would take Molly maybe to, maybe say, Comixology or digital-wise?
Oh yeah, no, it's absolutely going to go digital. This actually we're working very hard to get not only to have her be available digitally, but have the books in bookstores as well.
Cool.
Right.
And what format's the book going to be in?
It's going to be a European format, so it's going to be the pages are going to be 9x12 hardcover. The hardcover 9x12, 48 pages.
Nice, solid, big book.
Makes it more of a collectible type of thing.
Yep.
Absolutely. I believe in giving people a package that they will be proud to have on their shelf, because I love that format personally. I've done projects in it before. I love the look, the feel, the scale of the pages. Allows you to do so much more. To fit in so much more.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's the perfect format for me as a creator.
So let's talk about your day-to-day schedule.
Right.
You got your regular gigs at DC, Smallville,
right,
stuff like that. So that's paying for Jamal's life and family.
Right.
and then Molly kind of has to squeak in every other moment. Or do you have it? Are you really good organized-wise when you're?
I'm hoping to get better. Right now, the Kickstarter takes a lot of time, and I'm really trying to have that balance between finishing, because I still have to finish. I still have 10 pages left of this issue of Smallville that I have to finish, and then I actually have another project that's going to get announced at Baltimore. That another creator-owned project for I'll just say a front of the catalog company.
AAA, AAA comics.
So, but so that'll be announced in Baltimore, and that's a 5-issue miniseries. And then I basically have my schedule for the next year already tentatively blocked out, depending on the success of Molly on the Kickstarter. Mm-hmm. And hopefully, once the retail sales come in, or we do better than our initial funding goal, then all of that money will be rolled into the second book.
Yeah, cool. All right, so you're writing this for yourself. Right. Do you like working? Do you like drawing what you write for yourself, or are you like, why did I write that? That's going to be such a pain in the butt. What's the difference between working with another person's script and working for yourself?
Well, here's the thing, and I've been told that I'm completely nuts for doing this, but I'm actually writing a full script.
You're completely nuts for doing that.
Yes, I'm actually writing a full script for myself, so I'm actually compartmentalizing each part of the job and doing it that way, so that I like a roadmap. I don't like trying to figure out what. I mean, I've got a fully laid out plot. I've already started rewriting the script for book 1. I like a roadmap. I like knowing where I'm going, and it just makes it. Then when it gets to the art stage, then I can play a little bit more and fit in the little things that I like to fit in.
I could see you looking back at what you wrote, going, "Who the hell wrote this? Alan Moore?" This is a lot of description for one freaking panel.
Well, I've been sitting with this story for this version of the story for like 2 years now, so almost 2 years. So, I've had a lot of time to think about what I want to do.
Molly sits on a tree stump for 12 pages.
Oh, by the time he gets to actually want to enjoy the book, he's going to be so exhausted from the Kickstarter campaign. It's all going to be no backgrounds, action lines, completely manga style, and just like nothing there.
No, I can't give her the Rob Liefeld treatment. I'm sorry.
I never said draw anything wrong. It's a very pretty tree stump. Oh man, he'll never come on this podcast because we're just raping him. Okay,
love to
so
talk to Rob. I want to get in his head.
You want to get into his head? Check out his Twitter feed. He's apparently been complaining all day about the fact that Deadpool's never had an A-list creative team working on it.
Oh, I don't think I do follow him on Twitter. Or maybe I do. I don't know. I'll do that.
It's funny that I actually do follow him because I always like to know what my enemies are thinking. It's kind of one of those things. And so it's like, what is my idiot shit list thinking today? Oh, well, I'm glad you joined that Frappuccino. Yeah. Okay, well, that's another thing. Now, let's talk about how you went out of your way to get people to know about this. You had mentioned briefly before, but we didn't talk about the scale that you went through to get this out there.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's see. I started on Facebook, which was like the really sort of basic thing, and I've got a pretty hefty web presence, as it is. My average day before I even started this campaign was like the first 2 or 3 hours of my day is basically all social media. It's going on Twitter and going on Facebook and Google Plus and going. MySpace doesn't exist anymore, so that cut about a half an hour. But and then I don't do as many message boards as I used to, thank God, because that way leads to
you'd have no job. Forget about it.
Yeah, exactly. I still post on Bleeding Cool every once in a while, but I think that's probably like the only board that I go to at this point.
That's the place to go to.
Well, it's the arguments are always interesting there.
Yeah,
that's anywhere you go, you're gonna get. I don't know what's really worse is that if the main websites forums are bad, or is it these subsidiary Facebook closed groups are worse. I think the closed groups are a lot worse because they know they've already been kicked out of those forums, so they make a little subgroup of a subgroup of angry, bitter hatred into a little caregiving. Our opinion is the only one that matters. It's kind of creepy.
And they feed each other's hate.
Oh, yes, they do. And they don't realize what they're doing wrong because they're not on the outside looking in. They're in there, so they're in the thick of it.
They fall into the abyss.
Oof, it's the worst. So, okay, you get the Facebook going. You got first. If you don't know anything about Jamal on Facebook, he's got like 1 million people on Facebook already. They could pretty much fund the book already for him. And of course with Twitter. Now, how soon after did you start posting? Did you find other people were reposting and retweeting or whatever?
Almost immediately, because I started posting old artwork and new artwork as well. So people were already like posting and retweeting, that stuff. Posting, new versions of the logo, new versions of, old Molly pages that had already been drawn, new artwork that I was working on, and keeping people, part of the process. And then, I added the Molly Danger page itself and expanded to that. But I already had like the Jamal Igle fan page because, my regular Twitter page, my regular Facebook page, and, my Twitter, I think I've got like 4,000 people on Twitter. Now over 4,000 on Twitter followers. There's a lot. There's a lot to maintain. So I was.
Now you got to get Molly her own Twitter and Facebook. You all met up.
She does have her own Twitter actually. It's go underscore Molly Danger on Twitter.
Cool. There you go. At go underscore Molly Danger. Cool. I'm gonna follow.
Yeah, she's not tweeting herself yet, but
that wouldn't be creepy though.
You have to get someone just to bot things that you can say. Like
I know.
Like you just type in the word RoboCop, and all of a sudden, I buy that for $1. It shows up on your Twitter feed. Like, what the hell is this? What? So just get someone to just do a little bot. So every time someone says anything's relevant to your story, it'll just be a bot of like Molly Danger saying something.
I think those bots make up the most of my followers.
The bots are awesome, especially if they're done well. Like the Ed209 from RoboCop. Just gives you a countdown before he exterminates you. It's hysterical. I don't know what you type in to get it, but you get it. Just throw them out there. If they're clever, they're worth being there. So now she's got her own Twitter feed. She got her own Facebook page.
Right.
Plus all the stuff that you're doing already. Now, how fast is this growing for you? Like, how do you feel? Like, I mean, do you get a chance to breathe now, or?
No, no, there's no chance to breathe. I will tell you that you guys are my 6th podcast interview in 4 days.
Wow.
Well, it was so funny when you first started mentioning it. I wanted to do it then, but I'm like, wait, if he's just kind of starting this now, I'm going to kind of wait. And look, we wait and we waste time one, and we're number 6.
Nobody liked us.
Yeah.
You promised an exclusive.
Yeah, I said he lied to us. He used us. He said we were the first, which we knew. I knew that was completely bullcrap because I know you already spoke to like Amber on Mask and a couple other people. I feel dirty. I feel dirty, man. But that's cool. It's all for the goal again. Is out. I remember the first image you put up. I actually completely was on Facebook and I saw it. And I was like, share. Check this out. And so you usually want bitches at me for doing it. I was like, why are you retweeting and sharing all this crap? It's like, because it's just easy. They want it out there. Now one you can
I yell at him through Twitter. I was like, you're not a parrot. Stop retweeting everything.
Hey, it's content.
Come up with some original content. If you're going to retweet, at least add a little blurb.
No. Why would there be a retweet button for the fact of...
See the retweet button.
It's right there.
We have so many different ideas on how to tweet. I tweet maybe once or twice a day, but it's relevant. I am on the bus going home.
Yeah.
I lost 20 pounds.
Because that's everything to do with our fans, because our fans follow comic book and all that pop culture stuff. So the one day I should do is talk about if I ate a taco or not, because that's what my fans really want to hear about.
Really?
Yeah, really. It's like, Foursquare, I'm on the bus. They know. Here, look. Jamal did something. Go check this out. Hey, look,
did I tell you my Foursquare story? Actually, so I'm in Chicago for C2E2, and I'm at this this restaurant called Yolk, right?
Yeah.
And I check in on Foursquare, and I take a little picture of myself at Yolk. And this, like 20 minutes later, this guy walks up to me and he goes, "Are you Jamal Igle?" It's like, yeah. It's like, yeah, I saw you checked in on Foursquare. My friends told me that I should come over. I'm a big fan of yours. My friends told me I should come over and say hi. We're sitting right over there. I was like, wow.
That's when the last time Jamal used Foursquare.
That's what I want. Where's my phone? I'm going to follow you on Foursquare.
And he actually just got rid of it for that fact alone. He was just about to take a bite of something to eat, and the guy's like, "Hey, how you doing?" It's like, "Hi, what are you doing?"
Well, I had just finished my my chorizo eggs Benedict, which was huge and unwieldy, and I can't handle those Midwest portions. I really can't.
Oh man, I don't do Foursquare because it'd be kind of pointless. It's like, Rob's on the train. Rob's changing a diaper.
I am the mayor of my bus stop, all right? I feel
you are.
I am the mayor of my ass. I check into my ass on Foursquare.
Every so often you gotta just check in to make sure you know you're there. That's the point. You have to just check up on yourself.
This is very, very true.
So with all this going on, tell people at the end, like, just pimp this hardcore right now. This is all about your time to really help people. Tell them what to do that they help support you. Like, this is it. Like, it's not it because you're going to do like 20 more podcasts, but we'll pretend like this was it.
Okay. Well, all right. So I'll start with the pitch. Molly Danger is the story of the world's most powerful 10-year-old girl who's been 10 years old for the last 20 years. She is considered the greatest superhero in the world. She has merchandise and licensing. She operates out of the Molly Danger Museum and Gift Shop, otherwise referred to as the Molly Dome. She has a Molly Mobile. She has a team of support technicians known as Danger's Action Response Team, or DART. But Molly's also the loneliest little girl in the world. She doesn't have any friends. She doesn't have a secret identity. People are the DART members are constantly telling her that it's too dangerous for her and it's too dangerous for other people for her to have anything close to a normal relationship. So she's sort of a princess in an ivory tower. But that all changes when a new member named Austin Briggs joins DART. Now, Austin has his own reasons for joining DART. Austin is newly remarried. He has a stepson named Brian, and he and Brian don't get along. But Brian is a major Molly Danger fan. So Austin breaks protocol and brings Molly home for dinner. And that's where the story takes off. But what you can do if you really want to, all I'm asking is that you take a look at the Kickstarter page, take a look at the video, and you can do that at www.mollydanger.com. You can also find Molly Danger on Facebook and go facebook.com/Go Molly Danger. You can go to the production blog, which is gomollydanger.blogspot.com. And this is a very personal story for me. There really is a severe lack of not just female superhero characters, but those gateway books that we used to have when I was a younger reader. Stuff like before everything got dark with The Dark Knight Returns and Watchmen, and everything started slowly getting more and more dire. You had books like Power Pack, you had books like Planet Terry, you had the only thing that I even really feel comfortable outside of maybe Archie giving my daughter right now is Superman Family Adventures, but she doesn't want to read that. Yeah. She likes Ben 10, she likes Wonder Woman, she likes Supergirl. She's starting to get into those characters. And one of the things that I came across a lot when I was working on the Supergirl title for DC and later working on Zatanna is that women love superhero characters, and they love seeing characters that can kick butt. But a lot of the characters that are at the mainstream publishers right now are either way too violent, it's way too gory, or they've been sexualized to such an extreme point that they're unrecognizable to a lot of people.
Tainted.
Exactly. Tainted. There's this false need for relevancy that's going on with a lot of the mainstream comic books, and there needs to be more room for all ages material, for genuine good, light and magic and fun. You can tell a serious story, but you can also tell a story in such a way that it's accessible to all readers. The Dark Phoenix saga was a dark story in tone, but the way that it was presented, I didn't find it offensive as a kid. I didn't think of it on that level. If you create material that everybody can get on multiple levels, that adults and children can get on two different levels, then you have much more longevity.
See, when you say something like that, it makes you really think about it. Especially, what do we have out there right now that has anything to do with it? Like we talked about earlier, is all licensed properties.
Right.
And you're looking at Disney and whatever, getting more independent books out there from individuals telling stories that they want to read.
Right.
That's what we need to see. The only thing I think we have at all is stuff that's not from this country. A lot of the manga has all age group titles. And girls and boys alike are reading books from overseas more than they are here.
Very true.
And we kind of just dropped the ball on, what people say nowadays. Kids don't read. Kids aren't reading books. It's all adults.
Right.
It's all collectors. That's not true because you're not giving them something to look for.
No, and I think it even you're hearing more and more stories coming out of Japan that manga sales are down, but a lot of the manga is doing the same thing that American comics are doing. Is they're getting darker and more sexualized, and they're instead of learning from the opposite, which is make the stuff more accessible. Like even the stuff like I've been watching a lot of anime recently, and even the stuff that's supposedly geared towards younger viewers, it's so sexual.
Well, see, unfortunately, that's another cultural differences. Those another issue is that sex over there is not really considered anything. And what's so funny, sex.
High School of the Dead is not.
Well, that's not for kids though. High School of the Dead was not ever a manga or anime that was geared for kids.
No, but even talking about something like Strike Witches.
Right.
Which is supposed to be, about a group of teenage girls, like under the age of 18, but it's all like, upskirt shots. And
but they're Strike Witches. They got propeller legs. They're up in the sky. How are you not going to see up their tiny little itty bitty skirts? It's not. It's completely physics. It's got nothing to do.
Really, there's an entire episode where they're running around because they're running around trying to find their panties. I mean,
it's very true, but at the same time, you have to. Like I've learned a lot of things from going to Japan and having friends that are Japanese. That it's just sexual is part of their culture. When you have words that describe an old dirty man, right, and it's just a common thing. That's why they always told the old Dragon Ball Z. Master Roshi is this genius master of kung fu, but yet he's a perverted pig, and that show was geared to old ages.
I hear that, but at the same time, you don't have what is supposed to be a 13-year-old character running around, without a shirt on Dragon Ball Z.
They've had that. I mean, it's just that they edited for the American broadcasts. It also think about just Sailor Moon on its own. As girls love Sailor Moon. The characters transform and they completely go naked before they transform into their outfits. But
it was all artsy done. It was all done in silhouettes.
But still, the girl was naked.
Well, I don't know. I never saw it like that.
Stop splitting hairs. Now you're talking about just because you didn't get to see anything doesn't mean it was there. But
you were looking for that. I was just
because when Sailor Moon came out, I was that age. You were like 40 by that time, so take it easy.
I had kids. I was watching it with my kids. So
you're just watching it now, right?
No, maybe.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, it's all right. We'll get over it.
Anyway, hey, Jamal.
Yes.
Talk about the prizes that we get for pledging.
I was just getting there. Thank you for jumping the gun.
Okay, so if you pledge to my humble Kickstarter project, and if you do decide to pledge, I just want to say I thank you. From the bottom of my heart, because this is, like I was saying before, this is a very personal project for me. There are levels from $1 all the way up to $10,000.
Whoa, $10,000.
Yes, we'll get to the $10,000.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
But at $1, you get a downloadable PDF of the DART membership card, which has a code on the back. Once the campaign is over, and if it's successful, the production blog will go private, and the only way you'll be able to access the blog is with the password.
Ooh, high tech.
Yes. So, if you donate $5, you actually will be sent a physical DART membership card with the access code, and you'll also get a choice of 3 Molly Danger wallpapers. If you donate $10, you get the DART identification card, access to the blog, and you also get a DRM-free PDF of book 1 before it ships. So it's slated to ship in October. We'll probably get the book done in July. So probably like July or August, you will get a PDF of the entire book.
All right, cool. So in about a year.
Right. So the membership cards actually go out in October. Actually, no, not October, December, I should say, rather.
December of this year.
December of this year, yes.
Barring any apocalypse or giant ass.
Exactly. So, if you pledge $20, you can get we're going to be producing an 11x17 Molly Danger production sketchbook.
Wow.
That's pretty decent for $20, actually. That's cool.
So there's that. Also for $20, you can get a Molly Danger two-sided T-shirt, for, small or medium, or for $20. And for $25, you can get anywhere size from large to triple XL.
Which is about what everyone's gonna be going for. So guys, go for the $25 one. Double sided, so front and back.
Yes.
So
it'll
only
it'll
$20
have,
or $25. That's another amazing thing because that doesn't happen more anyway. Though.
Yeah.
So you'll get you'll get Molly on the front with the logo, and the Molly icon on the back, and they'll be available in black and pink.
Yeah, and you got the pictures on the website. They look sharp, actually.
Thank you.
Yep. Cool.
So there's that. Okay. So where were we? It was $25. Okay. So if you pledge $50, you not only get a signed copy of Molly Danger Book 1. I should mention you can also for $25 just get a copy of Molly Danger Book 1 shipped to you, but you also get the PDF before. So you'll get the PDF of the book before it's shipped to you, so you'll know what you're getting.
And then you get the physical book.
And you get the physical book and the access to the production blog.
Nice.
If you donate $50, you get a signed copy of the book and a limited edition Molly Danger print, and that's actually limited to 100. So you get the print, you get the PDF, you get the membership card, and things will start. Like I said, things will start rolling out in December, and everything will wrap up in September or October of next year, as far as that's concerned. We also have what I call the Dart Technician Pack, which is a combo deal where you can get a copy of the book plus the PDF and the access to the production blog, but you can also get a Molly Danger T-shirt.
Nice.
Now, what's that price range for?
That's $50.
That's also $50.
That's $50. I should say that all these most of these prices this includes shipping, except if you're in Canada, Mexico, or in Europe.
International, right?
Right. So the international shipping has different prices attached to it. For $75, you get a signed copy of Molly Danger Book 1. You get the print. You get the behind-the-scenes sketchbook. You get access to the production blog, and you get thanks and acknowledgement on the website.
Cool.
For $100, you get a signed copy of Molly Danger Book 1 with a black and white sketch from me in the cover.
Nice.
You also get, and again, membership card, thanks to the print, and thanks to acknowledgement on the website. For $200, you get a signed copy with a full color sketch in the cover. And then you also get I'm having a 24 by 36 limited edition Molly Danger poster made.
Cool.
So that's there's only 10 of those.
Only
Actually,
10 posters.
At the $200 level, there's only 10 backers will get that package at $200.
All right.
So 10 people spend $200 to get something super limited.
Right.
Exactly. So guys, go to the website because not all of these prizes are
guaranteed.
Some of them are limited. Yeah, they're all limited.
So for $400, you get 2 copies of Molly Danger Book 1, each one with an original sketch in the cover, and all the other stuff except for the print. That's for not the print, the poster.
So you get like the sketchbook.
You get the sketchbook. You get the dart card. You get the sketchbook. You get 2 books, each one with an original full color sketch in the cover.
And then the website, thanks and acknowledgments.
Right. Now I can't talk about the $500 tier because that's just going to make people mad because it's already sold out.
What you got? Wow, those are awesome. You got people to do that. What? You can't talk about it?
There's no point mentioning it because there's nothing left.
Right. And I actually had somebody ask me today whether or not I was going to open that tier up again. Yeah. And the problem with opening that tier up again is that I was offering an original commission.
Yeah.
for $500, and if I open that up again, that means that I'm actually going to end up doing more commissions than actual artwork,
and not actually drawing the actual book. Don't
Right.
be selfish, people. Let them draw the book.
Exactly. So, okay, so for $1,000, and this is limited to 10 people. You get 4 copies of Molly Danger Book 1, each one with an original sketch. You get the identification card, you get the access to the website, you get the PDF of Book 1, you get the Kickstarter sketchbook, you get the 24 by 36 poster, and you get 1 page of original artwork from Molly Danger Book 1.
Wow. That's big.
And then I have 2 retailer incentives, and these are limited to 1 each. I have a $5,000 retailer incentive, which is I will give you 100 copies of Molly Danger, prints, and a Molly Danger point of purchase stand, and I will fly to your store and do a signing.
Anywhere in the world.
Anywhere. Actually, yes. For $7,000, I will fly anywhere in the world.
Oh, for 7,000 is anywhere. For 5,000,
it's
staying in the States, baby.
It's staying in the
United
States.
The lower 48 states.
The lower 48. Well, don't exclude Hawaii. I'm sure Jamal will not have a problem flying to Hawaii.
Exactly.
To the Coconut Comic Book Store. That's awesome. Yeah, definitely.
Juneau, Alaska. I'm sorry. Honolulu is
49 and a half states. He's never go all the way to Alaska. He'll wave at Alaska from the window as he's going.
And then we have the big one that I mentioned earlier, which is the $10,000 tier. Now, the $10,000 tier is very special because if one person donates $10,000, they get 38 pages of artwork from Book 1.
That's almost the entire book.
Yes, that's almost the entire book.
Wow.
And you also get 4 copies of the book, each one with an original sketch. You get and everything else included.
Everything that we mentioned before.
Right.
And you personally, you get to make dinner for Jamal.
And you will fly to their house.
And you have to make dinner for him.
What were you going to say, Rob?
I was going to say, and they have to make dinner for you, so that's included.
I think it's the other way around. I think I'm going to have
to cook for them.
Yes, exactly. I think I have to pony up on that one.
So we're having a salad. That's what.
But yeah, and then you also get listed in the book as the book's producer.
Nice.
Hey, how much for you to make me into a comic book character in the book?
You know what? You were the 4th person who has asked me about that. And I really I had thought about it.
Kick-Ass did that.
Yeah, I know. I had thought about it for a while, and I'm still debating whether or not I'm going to do it, to be honest, only because there's, at least in Book 1, there's the only places that people would probably be able to fit in are in crowd scenes or in the Hall of Heroes, which are otherwise known as the Honored Dead.
That'd be cool. I'd take that.
But the problem with that is if you do something wrong, the first thing you're going to hear is I paid all this money and you drew me like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on. You think Jamal will... No, he will draw you awesome.
No, but people have a whole misconception of what they actually look like when they get drawn.
This is true. And I've done enough licensed material over the years to know that people get very, very edgy about how they look. I remember one of the best stories that I'd ever heard was Patrick Stewart. When DC was doing the Star Trek comics, Patrick Stewart was very, very specific that you get that little point on the top of his head right.
Really?
Yes. He would get very, very upset if they didn't draw his head that it wasn't too round.
He actually has his head sculpted that way. That's not by accident.
You know what? I would have been light boxing his headshot throughout the whole.
Caption box, dialogue balloons over the top of the head. Never see it. That one episode where he wears a tribble on his head the whole time.
Yeah, it's amazing what you can do with Super Sculpey.
Patrick Stewart's not even real. So you got.
I've been saying that for years. Are you kidding me?
All right.
That doesn't exist. That's not Patrick Stewart. That's Professor X. Jamal, you know that the X-Men's. No,
that's it.
Real, damn it.
No, it's real. It's Patrick. Juan, you going to say something?
Yeah, live on this podcast, I am pledging $100.
Thank you, sir.
To get a likeness. I'll draw myself into the book, but you can
leave an empty space between two people's shoulders so Juan could throw his own head in there.
But there you go. Click and confirm on Amazon payments. See how easy it is, guys, to go on Kickstarter.
In about 2 seconds, Juan just gave up the money he made for the week. Thank God he's not eating anymore.
Ouch.
Yeah.
It's the love. It's the overwhelming love and respect that I love about you guys. I just, I can just feel it radiating all over me, like a cold shower.
Hold on, I'm gonna tweet it.
Oh, now he's gonna brag about it. See, it's not if I just donate money. You gotta brag about it because that's all it's about. It's about me, and not your actual project. But number one, guys, everyone should donate. I mean, I've been making all the people I have, all the fans we have, all around wherever. I'm like, hey, you know about Kickstarter? Check this out. Hey, you done Kickstarter for somebody else? Well, why don't you support this? And that's the best way of doing this. Just let everyone know. You know what? If you're a parent, if you're a person who thinks kids are cool, just anyone in general has fond memories of even childhood, you want to support projects like this. We need more.
Absolutely. Even if I hadn't known Jamal for 20 years, I would still support it because this is something that is personal. It's a passion for him, for us fans.
Yes.
It's not like a product. It's not just for the money. It's not. He's not churning out the donuts.
And obviously, the stuff he's offering, he's not making any money on this. We know what it costs to make these things to be made. And I'm like, wait, a double-sided shirt? You'd be lucky if I give you a white T-shirt with a little marker sketch.
Absolutely.
And on top of everything else, you just gotta understand this is what it's about. It's the love. The comics community keeps talking about how we're a niche group, and yet we need to support each other, and this is the best way of doing it.
Tweeted.
I'm making a very cathartic statement right here, and you're talking.
I know. I really have been, just overwhelmed by, just not just the fan support so far, but like the amount of like other professionals who have been, sharing and retweeting and just. It feels good, and I appreciate it more than I could probably ever say. It's just I've been humbled over the last, because we've only been running for 2 days, and it's just doing so much more than I ever imagined that it would do.
See, on that, I don't think we need to say anything more other than the fact that, we're going to post links on our site and everywhere else where you guys can go, and we could say it's this and this and this, but you know what? If we don't actually shove that link in their face, people may not take that step to click.
Yeah, you got to be aggressive about it. You got to be a little obnoxious.
And you know what, guys? I know if you guys donate a lot to Kickstarter, you don't think you have the funds. $1. Every little bit helps. I mean, I feel like Sally Struthers a little bit. But something better. You're getting something in return this time.
I've got a distended belly, but it's not from malnutrition. So,
all right. So the Kickstarter isn't. We're not feeding Jamal.
No.
But if you want to donate more money and feed Jamal, that would also be a benefit. Because no one can create talented work like Jamal on an empty stomach.
No, artists have to eat. His kids have to eat.
Everyone has to eat. All right. So with that, I just want to say, Jamal, now this last minute, just so people who now we know about this Kickstarter, we're gonna get that out there. Let's just talk about you in general.
Okay.
About pimping everything that you do, where the people can find you, what to do, how to do it, so people know and get to see you on a daily basis in the internet, not in real life like with the Foursquare, but like on the fake world.
Well, just in general, if you just type my name, Jamal Igle, into a search engine, you will find me. I am on Facebook. I am on Google+. I am on Twitter. I am on Foursquare.
You have a wiki page.
Yes, I've got. Yes, I've got a Wikipedia page. Oh my god!
I did not know you invented popcorn. That's what it says on your wiki page. Invented
Yes,
popcorn.
between that and the steam-powered engine, which was it's
Where
really.
do you have time for Molly Danger? You invented air.
Thanks for the air I breathed, Jamal.
Yes, you're welcome. I own the sky, not all of it, just the one over Hong Kong.
Just one over Hong Kong.
Well, I own the sky, whichever is over me at the time. So.
Okay.
All right, take it easy there, Buddhist. So we can find you, but you got your Facebook page. You got the.
I'm all over. I'm on Facebook, and everything is just look for Jamal Igle, and I'm there.
You even got a DeviantArt page, or are you?
Yes, it's Jamal Igle at jamaligle.deviantart.com.
See, there you go. Look for this man's name. If you don't know it already, you're missing on something. And one day I'm going to post an interview I did with you about 12 years ago.
Oh my God!
Yes. I found it a little while ago. I was like, my God, I put this on my older version of the show 12 years ago.
Did I say Peachy Keen a lot? Because I kind of have that feeling if it's that old.
Oh, I remember, but it was I remember it was the same day I interviewed Sam Keith, so that's how I know how long ago it was.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't think Sam doesn't even do interviews anymore.
He don't. Well, he thought he knew me.
Oh, okay.
So I got away with that, and I didn't tell him he didn't know me.
Okay.
No, it was a Big Apple Comic Con.
You know what?
In the Village.
If you go into Google and you type Jamal
right,
Igle is the second underneath Iqbal. But hey, that's pretty good.
Well, you don't realize Jamal Iqbal is actually he runs 3 small countries, and it's hard to Jamal's there, but he's not there yet. He's working his way up. Comic books can only get you so far. You can only get second.
This is
below.
true. This is very, very true.
I would love to be under Iqbal personally. Not
I
literally.
think we should, mark that.
I'm working hard on that. I'm working hard on being under Iqbal. All right, now as for us guys, Juan, pimp what you do.
I read comics. I talk about comics. I tweet about my bus stops and my weight.
Yeah, he used to actually draw some, but that doesn't happen often.
Well, I draw
once
in a while.
I yell at people to draw, but we don't get nothing. I still I throw it out there. Little self-pity. And with Twitter, come on, Juan. Pages.
At Juan C. Pineda is my Twitter. You can follow me there.
And what about your Flying Fist of Kung Fu Turtle ass thing? Your blog page?
Flying Fist of Fury is my blogger, which I will sometimes post, but I think I'm more active on Twitter. I got a Tumblr too. Turtle Stampede. That's what it is. There it is.
And of course, when one actually does stuff for me, it will be on alternativeminds.com.
Yep.
It doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it's usually in the podcast form or whatever. You guys know to go to comicnation.tv, notmittenbox.com, japantheotakushow.com, from Earth to Cybertron.com, which is all part of the umbrella of Alternative Minds. There's content all the time. We have a Facebook page, which is what's great about our Facebook page, guys. Every other feed from every other thing that you like that's pop culture related fed right to one source. So you just go to that Facebook page, the Alternative Minds Facebook page. You want to know what's going on in CBR. Instead of going to their pages, you come to ours, and we'll take you to every single cool pop culture related thing. So we're the one-stop shop for all pop culture references. And
that's how he tweets, because you figure if you just follow his Twitter, you don't have to follow anybody else. He'll just retweet it anyway.
I'll retweet anyways. You just come to me. I'm helping you help yourself. It's like, you know what? You could go to like a fruit market to get fruit, or you can go to a supermarket and buy milk and fruit. You see, you get everything in one spot.
Or you could like throw all the fruit into the blender and drink it with a straw. Rob is that blender.
I'm actually the straw you drink from. I got no nutrition value. Twitter account is called AltMinds, MINDZ. Alternative Minds is spelled MINDZ.com. You guys know that already. And I want to thank Jamal Igle for being probably one of the coolest people we ever known.
Thanks, man.
And I'm going to make people at my job who don't even care that I do this stuff. They don't care about anything in my life. But I'm going to make them give up money. I'm going to say it's going to be donated for like whatever. I'm going to lie to them. I'm going to say you're going to get a chicken sandwich out of the deal. I'll never give it to them.
We're going to put cans of, for coin slots in every deli counter in the Midtown area?
Yes. Well, Midtown area, put it everywhere. Molly Danger. It will confuse the crap out of people. Are we saving this little girl, or is she in danger? Just put money into the slot, my friends. No, go to the Kickstarter. Go to Molly Danger's site. Follow her on Twitter. I can't wait to see what she starts saying. I think she needs to have some conversations with the Archies and Snoopies and all the other fictional Twitter characters. And I think Angry Hulk or Drunk Hulk or whatever it is. She'll have a conversation with Molly Danger. It'd be great. He'll be in all caps and she'll be all lowercase. It'd be fantastic. And once again, thank you, and until next time.